Good morning, students. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So my screen is visible to you? My screen is visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what we will do today, so we will take up a new concept. Okay. So that is basically, we understand this what is that? Microcontroller, correct? So microcontroller, okay, 88051 we understood. Okay. So now, so we are not in this, it is somewhere around 1950s chip actually. So, but the basic to understand microcontroller, anyway, we have to study this one. Now, how we moved from this microcontroller to the advanced microcontroller or microprocessor. Okay. So, advanced microcontroller and microprocessor, how we evolved, that is what we have to understand. Okay. So, that is very important so that, if you study this particular part, you will be understanding what kind of microcontroller or microprocessor are available in market. Okay, so that is what we have to try, and we have to see what is this evolution. Okay, what kind of evolution took place, okay, from this point to the advanced microprocessor and microcontroller. Okay, so that is we are trying to understand in this particular class. Okay, so evolution of this microprocessor and microcontroller. Anyway, you see, whenever it comes to microcontroller or microprocessor, okay, microprocessor or microcontroller, see, what are the features? Okay, so it may be the number of bit. Okay, so 8-bit microprocessor, then 16-bit processor and 32-bit processor and 64-bit processor. Then basically the word length, the register length is increasing. Okay, so the microprocessor is having the memory which can hold more number of bytes in a single register. So that is also one point what you have to understand with respect to microprocessor and microcontroller. 8051 is a 8-bit microprocessor. Now, whatever microprocessor you are seeing is basically somewhere around 32-bit microprocessor or 64-bit microprocessor microcontrollers. So that is also one evolution what you have to see. Now, currently 32-bit or 64-bit microprocessor are widely used. Okay, so that we are in this particular state. So when it comes to the speed, okay, speed of operation, the oscillator what you are providing to the microcontroller or microprocessor should generate high clock pulse. So whenever you give clock high speed clock pulse, then what happens, the microprocessor and microcontroller will be faster. So why? So whenever clock changes, so the state of the microcontroller or microprocessor changes. That means what? Your entire speed of your microcontroller or microprocessor depends on this particular clock. Okay, so clock speed. So that means, if your the speed of this particular clock is more, then the speed of the microcontroller is obviously more. So now this microcontroller what we are studying, that 8051, is basically somewhere around 12 megahertz. You see, the clock frequency is 12 megahertz. Okay, so what is one clock will take 1 divided by 12 mega. Okay, somewhere around maybe zero point 0.1 microsecond. Okay, so this is the time taken by this particular 8051. Now whatever you are seeing in the market, so it will be in terms of some hertz, say 5 gigahertz. Can you see? So this is the frequency of the clock pulse. So that
Sir,
means
we
if
can't
you,
see the screen.
yeah, you are not able to see the screen.
No, sir.
Okay, I already shared. All of you, can you see my screen?
No,
No,
sir.
sir. It was coming for some time, then it went
Oh, it
away.
went up.
Your voice is also breaking.
Voice is also breaking.
For
Yeah. Okay. So I was telling about the clock pulse. Clock pulse 8051 clock pulse was around 12 megahertz. That means 0.1 micro seconds, for every clock pulse. So, whenever some instruction you want to execute, so the change in this particular, for every clock, cycle, the state of the microcontroller microprocessor changes. So obviously, whenever you have a high frequency, say for example, if you consider 5 gigahertz, 5 divided by 1 divided by 5 gigahertz. So now you can see somewhere around, even if I consider 10 gigahertz, so 1 divided by 10, 0.1, a nanosecond. So this is the time taken by your clock pulse. So then what happens? So to execute any instruction, remember here, so I am telling here for one clock pulse, to execute any instruction, okay, so I am just telling any instruction. So normally it will take something like 8 cycles or 16 cycles like this. Okay, 16 clock cycles or 8 clock cycles it will take to execute any instruction. Say how? So say for example, I want to execute this command, move a comma. Okay, so move a comma b, something like this. So this instruction will take 8 clock cycle. Okay, 8 clocks. So that means what is the time taken by this particular, if it is 8051, then the time taken for, it is basically 8 into 0.1 microsecond. So this is 0.8 microsecond. So if you execute the same thing in the advanced computer which is having 10 gigahertz, so you can see here, 8 cycle into 0.1 nanosecond. So this is 0.8 nanosecond. Can you see the 1000 times the time performance is increased in the advanced computer. So clock is more important. So now whenever you say advanced computer, so normally clock frequency increases. Okay, increases, so that time decreases. This is also one factor what you have to consider. Along with that, so there is a lot of advantages with respect to users. See, 8051 and when it evolved, so a lot, that microprocessor and microcontroller, the embedded system, is become more and more complex. Okay, so more and more complex. So now what they are trying to do, they are trying to minimize this complexity and they want to make it simple. Okay, so that is also one feature what you can observe in the advanced microprocessor and microcontroller. Okay, say for example, writing assembly program is very difficult in conventional microprocessor and microcontroller. Now what they will do, they will try to introduce, you write in assembly level, and we will provide some converters. You convert that particular thing to assembly program. Now it becomes simple for the user. Okay, so this becomes simple for the user. And also, say for example, now writing, the performance is, I can't evaluate my performance. Okay, so many manufacturers, what they did, they come up with some kind of compilers. You don't need to worry about the performance. No, we will try to optimize your code, and we will deploy that particular code inside a microprocessor and microcontroller. Now what happened, every time it becomes user friendly, and for user it becomes simple. And they started introducing some more features like, I want some kind of security. Okay, security is very important. See, now you heard of cryptography, crypto system, so all kind of security you heard. Say for example, when it comes to the hardware level, okay, so they started providing some the security features. Okay, security features in the microprocessor and microcontroller. So now, say for example, if your microprocessor or microcontroller won't provide any security, that means anybody can get into the microprocessor of bank. They can go and put some devices which can tap the information from the microcontroller or microprocessor. You see, so that kind of threats are there. So if you include the hardware level security, then what happens? So one cannot do anything with the hardware itself. So hardware itself will provide a lot of security. Okay, so now see, 8051, anybody can access accumulator. Anybody can access say R1 register, R2 register. You understood? So if they tap the lines, IO lines, then anybody can see what is present in that particular register. Is it? Is it not? So similarly in the memory itself, in the memory also, whatever memory you have, if somebody taps the lines physically, if they tap that particular lines, then they can see what exactly present in the external memory, code memory and all. So it is completely open access. Okay. So now that should not be the case. So the security features should be there in the microprocessor and microcontroller itself. You understood? So this kind of features they have provided in the advanced microprocessor and microcontroller. So one more next thing is that, see, nowadays you see people are working in the software platform. Okay, so a lot of software platforms are there. Okay, so now the thing is, people will ask, sir, I have say C program. Can I use C program and write some microprocessor coding? And some people say I have Python. Okay, can I write a microprocessor programming? This kind of question. I have a Java. Okay, so can I use Java to write a microprocessor programming? So this kind of different software platforms are there. So using this different platforms, user want to write a they want to write and they want to work with microprocessor and microcontroller. You understood? So now what they have created in microprocessor and microcontroller, they have created the kind of runtime engine. Can you imagine? Okay, runtime engine. Okay, or even it can be just in compiler. Okay, just in time compiler technology. So runtime environment itself they have deployed inside a microprocessor and microcontroller. That means you can directly load Python program, you can directly load Java program, something like that. If you load Java program, that microprocessor and microcontroller will understand that particular code and it will work. You see, so this kind of features also available in the advanced microprocessor and microcontroller. You understood? So a lot of software level compatibility is there. Okay. So the next one. Okay, next feature is basically, see the instructions, say for example, I already told, when it comes to instructions, so as the days rolled out, the instruction, so many new microprocessor and microcontroller came into market. Okay, now I told in the beginning that whenever new microprocessor and microcontroller comes, okay, so that microprocessor and microcontroller will be having their own instructions. Okay, their own instruction they will be having. So whenever you purchase any microcontroller or microprocessor, you have to take that particular instruction set also. So I mean, for every kind of operation, people started putting newer instructions. So then what happens? The instructions become huge, and it is very difficult for the developer or the user to handle this particular ambiguity. So now so they want the simpler kind of instruction. Okay, so the instruction should not be so complex and it should not have too much of instruction. So that is what the problem what the user had. So this is basically overcome by using something called RISC. Okay, this is very important in the microcontroller. RISC instructions. Okay, and one more word is there, CISC instructions. Okay, so RISC instruction and CISC instruction. So RISC instruction is basically reduced. Okay, reduced instruction set computer. Okay, reduced instruction set computer, and CISC is basically complex instruction set computer. Okay, remember this one. This is very important with respect to microprocessor and microcontroller. Please remember this. Okay, so this is very important with respect to microprocessor and microcontroller. RISC instruction set risk reduced instruction set computer and complex instruction set computer. This is very important. Okay, I'll come to this. What exactly this tells? Reduced instruction set and complex instruction set. Okay, now I'll just speak about this complex instruction set first. Okay, complex okay instruction set computer. Please focus here. This is very important. Complex instruction set computer. Complex instructions set computer means I already told each you have some instruction like say multiply. Okay, mul AB. This instruction you have. So multiplication of A and B. So this is basically microprocessor instruction. Now each instruction will take its own number of time. So that means it may be some kind of say something like 32-bit instruction. Okay, so 32-bit instruction. So this may be 32-bit instruction. So if more number of this, if it is a 32-bit instruction, so then it will take more time. You understood? It will take more time. Now, in this particular operation, in complex instruction set operation, what happens? See, three things happens. Okay, one. Okay, it will load data. Okay, it will load data. Okay, and second one, it will it will compute. It will compute some operation, and the third one is okay. It will store. It will store the result. Okay, it will store the result back to the memory. See, these three things happens for a single instruction. Okay, these three things happens for a single instruction. So if you consider this mul AB, AB is the data. AB is basically the data. Okay, so this is basically it has to load. First, it has to load the data to the ALU, correct? It has to load the data. Second, multiplication operation. Okay, this is basically compute. So that means what? You have to repeated addition operation you have to do inside a ALU and you have to get the result. And then what you have to do? Okay, you have to store the result. Result where the result will come? Result again it will go and it will sit in A and B register. Okay. Now can you see all these three things happens in a single instruction? Okay. Any single in all the instruction in conventional microprocessor and microcontroller. Okay. All this load, compute, and store operation will take place for every instruction. For every instruction, all these things happens. Okay, all these things happens in the computer. Now, in the reduced instructions, now when it happens, when all these things take place, now you can understand loading data will take its own time, computing it will take its own time, and storing result back to the memory it will take some time. So because of all these things, the execution time of the computer is more. Okay, execution time of the computer is more for a single instruction. Okay, so that is why what they did, they introduced something called RISC. Okay, RISC, reduced instruction set computer. This is basically only, it is separated. Okay, I can say separated. In RISC it is called load and store instruction. Okay, load and store instructions. Load and store instruction. That means you load data separately. Okay, and you give instruction with which will compute something. Okay, separately, and also storing result is also separate. So all the things they have separated in the RISC operation. Okay, in the RISC operation. So in that way, what happens? One thing, what happened? The time taken. Okay, time taken to execute. Okay, time taken to execute an instruction. Okay, instruction is reduced. Okay, so this is one advantage what this particular RISC architecture possesses. So the time taken for an instruction is reduced because it is completely separated. So loading is different instructions, okay, and computing only computes the some operation. It can be addition operation, subtraction operation. In addition operation, there will not be any data movement. Okay, simply it computes the data present in the temporary register of the ALU. So that's all it does. Okay, so there is no additional movement of the data will not be there in the RISC architecture. So that for that movement of data, you have to use separate instructions. Okay, so this is one advantage of this particular RISC architecture. Okay, so now in that, now say for example, I'll tell you, anyway, if you separate the instruction, how the time is reduced, those things we'll discuss in the, in the consequent, sessions. Okay, so this is about RISC and CISC operation. Any clarification you required on the RISC and CISC? Reduced instruction set computer, and if you see the instruction set of the RISC architecture, okay, it is very minimal. You see, very minimal number of instructions will be there. Okay, so when you see the complex instruction set computer, for every operation, okay, I want to do some signal processing, introduce some instruction. I want to do some kind of filtering operation, introduce some instruction. I want to do some for series, say for example finding square root and some mathematical operation, introduce some instruction. That kind of thing was happening in complex instruction set computer. In that, a lot of sub instructions were there. Okay, so lot of things it has to do internally. So now in this in RISC architecture, that issue is not there. So now what they will do in RISC architecture, okay, one more feature what they will provide is kind of pipeline. Okay, so the instruction will go and it will wait. Okay, in the instruction decoder. Okay, so there will be one more pipeline block will be there where instruction will be queued. So after executing every instruction, each instruction will be pulled by the ALU and it will solve. So in this way, the pipelining concept they have introduced so as to reduce the overall time. See, earlier what was happening, say one instruction is executing, after that next instruction was executing, and after executing that particular instruction, other instruction was executing. This was the concept. Okay, now what they did, they introduced something called a pipeline concept. Say, let this instruction execute. If the next instruction is does not affect the current executing instruction, then start at early, at the beginning. Okay, before ending of the previous instruction, execute. Okay, so if at all if you can execute the other instruction, you can start at appropriate time, so that the overall time of the execution reduces. So this kind of pipelining concept is introduced in the advanced microprocessor and microcontroller, so that this RISC is basically connected with this pipeline concept to reduce the overall time of the program. Any questions on this? Any questions? Am I audible to all? Am I audible? So can anybody respond?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Yeah. So now here with this simple simple introduction, I just want to start this. Okay, ARM. Okay, ARM microprocessor and microcontroller. Okay, so this is very important. ARM. Okay, ARM microprocessor or microcontroller, which is currently used everywhere. Okay, what is this? A means advanced. Okay, advanced. R means RISC. Okay, RISC. M means machine. Advanced RISC machine. So now when you see this advanced RISC machine, So advanced means whatever feature what I was mentioning, all those features should be there. Okay, advanced means here feature. Whatever features, okay, what we discussed, all those features it has to have. And also we discussed something on risk. So ARM microprocessor and microprocessor, the core part, the main part is risk. When risk evolved, they introduced this arm. Okay, so then it evolved, and the complex instruction set is coordinated. So now that's why arm is basically risk architecture, because the execution time is very less of any program. Okay, so machine means here microcontroller or microprocessor. Okay, arm. ARM means risk machine. Okay, ARM microprocessor and microcontroller. Okay, whatever you are seeing in your Raspberry Pi, or even in some the computer, or in mobile phones. Okay, just to see the microprocessor or microcontroller what is present in your mobile phone, this is basically ARM. Okay, so that's why it is very important to understand what is ARM. Okay, with the understanding of the basic the architecture and the programming model of 8051. Okay, so we have to understand this particular arm. Okay, so that is what we have to do in the next coming classes. Am I clear on this concept? So arm. So again, all the other things will come. Okay, writing a program. Normally, nobody does ARM programming using assembly programming. They will now start with embedded C only. Okay, since you have some touch in embedded C, okay, so you can take. I mean, you can understand the ARM programming as well now. Okay, so that is how we have to progress. Okay, any questions on any topic what we have discussed today? Complex instruction set instruction and reduced instruction set computer, you just have to study a bit more. So now the today's session is just to give some orientation to the advanced microprocessor and microcontroller. Until now, what we did, we just try to understand what is microcontroller and all. Okay, so if you required, let us somewhere, one or two sessions, we will touch on 8086 microprocessor. You will understand how exactly microprocessor and microcontrollers are same. Okay, how these two things are same. Let us, in one or two sessions, I'll just cover this one, 8086. Then I think we have to spend more time on ARM microprocessor and microcontroller. So that should be our goal. So any questions, please post it in the chat box. Yes, 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 Rupam. So mobile processor and this single board computer, Raspberry Pi and all, okay, uses the ARM microprocessor and microcontroller. So one can type, like, if you can see my screen, say Raspberry Pi, okay, micro controller. Okay. ARM microprocessor, they say. Can you see here? Raspberry Pi 4, they are telling ARM. Okay. Can you see here the variant what they are using? Okay, ARM 1176 JZF. Yes, microprocessor. So 700 megahertz is the frequency of that one. Okay. So like that. So even you can say mobile. Okay, so mobile microprocessor list. Okay, say maybe. Yeah. Anybody want to speak? That this Apple and all those people leave it, they will definitely make their customized one. Okay. Say I am just taking Android mobile. There may be some name, but when you see the architecture, it is always ARM only. So they have some names, but only thing is we have to go in depth and we have to understand. Okay, so let me take this. I mean, the technical details they won't. Can you see here? They use ARM thing only. So you see here, this is based on ARM Cortex. I'll come to that. What is that Cortex and all? But ARM only. The complete architecture will be ARM only. So if you understand ARM architecture, then I think you can understand any microprocessor and microcontroller. That is the thing. Yeah, screen not shared. Just try to search. What is that? The list of microprocessor and microcontroller used in mobile phone, Android mobile phone. You will get it. Okay. Don't see the names. Okay. Just try to say maybe uh, some mobile phone they use something called Snapdragon 888. So that is the microprocessor name. But when you give Snapdragon 888 number 888, then you will see the internal architecture of that particular, the ARM. So that is how you have to learn. So now spend some time on the uh, this particular, evolution of the microprocessor, and so let us discuss, the architecture and how it is different and similar what we have learned till now. Okay, so shall we hold here? Shall we continue in the next class? Any questions? Yeah. Yeah, please do ask any questions if you have any in the chat box. 1 or 2 minutes.